describe the Pine Ridge Railroad as a selectively compressed version of John Allen's Gory and Defeated layout. John Allen's layout room occupied approximately 630 square feet, whereas the Pine Ridge Railroad occupies only 425 square feet. Obviously, I've taken some liberties at some of the buildings. The towns and cities on the Pine Ridge Railroad require several more structures and certainly a lot more details. The power system on the Pine Ridge Railroad is a Digitrax DCC system. I plan to use John Allen's Tab-on car system as a means of car operations. So let's move on to the next scene. I'm standing over at the area, the control panels of Gory and Defeated. This is an area that I had greatly selectively compressed when you compare this to what John Allen had. John Allen had several bridges and had some loop backs. The storyline is that the Pine Ridge Railroad purchased the Gory and Defeated from John Allen after he retired to pursue his interest in photography and model railroading. The Pine Ridge Railroad also kept the Devil's Gulch and Hellengong Railroad, which is a narrow gauge railroad. And what I did is I put narrow gauge track in here where John Allen had standard gauge track, and that runs up to, from Gory up to Defeated. And so that was narrow gauged. And then the rest of it continues out and hooks up and becomes dual gauge on the other side of the layout here. Okay, I'm now standing in front of the town of what I call Andrew. John Allen had called this area Andrews, and I call it Andrew. I renamed several towns along my layout that use different names than what John Allen did. This is one example. At Andrew, I incorporated the time saver switching layout that John Allen is also famous for. It's a switching layout game. It's a switching puzzle game. So I've incorporated that down here. This area is a lot shorter than what John Allen had, but nevertheless, it reflects close to what he had. And then panning over to the scenery, my wife painted the backdrop, wonderful backdrop scenery here. This emulates what's called the 10 Mile Range in Colorado. This is painted, where it makes this S, is painted on 1/8 inch styrene plastic. And when it hits the wall over here, the backdrop is then made out of masonite. You'll notice there's several bridges I tried to recreate several of the bridges that John Allen had used. If you're going to do anything along the lines of what John Allen did, you're going to be faced with having probably scratch-built several bridges. You'll notice over on the side, we also have a mirror that reflects part of the scenery back along the lines of what John Allen had as well. And now we're filming in the area that John Allen called Sims Loop. We call this Cammy's Loop. We've got some bridges in here that are on a 26-inch radius curve. This area is, as you can see, is still under construction. There's going to be a mine here called Silver King Coalition Mine. It is modeled, it's modeled after Park City Silver King Coalition Mine. And in the center here is where John Allen had the Scalp Mountain, and we're going to call it K-Dog's Peak. This will be one of the next areas that I'll tackle and create a mountain here. There will be an access pit, in the back. And then moving over here, this is one of my most favorite areas of the Gory and Defeated Railroad. This is called French Gulch, and it's services of 3 different tiers on HO scale. And up here there's a straight track N scale I wanted to make sure that I got this arch bridge in. This is actually N scale, which creates a forced perspective, but it's just about a 11-foot section of N gauge track. This deck bridge is really two Campbell kits that I flipped upside down and turned the Howe through truss into a Howe deck bridge. And then these other bridges here were kit bashed and scratch built. I'd just like to say that John Allen really greatly influenced me, as well as hundreds of other model railroaders. He raised the bar on model railroading, and added a degree of realism that hadn't really been seen, and certainly not seen in most toy train layouts. And I take a lot of inspiration from John Allen. And the Pine Ridge Railroad, for me, keeps his legend alive and keeps his railroad alive, even though John Allen is no longer physically with us.